quite a special day today because it's actually the plot's birthday. The 7th of April is the plot's birthday when I actually took on the allotment, and today's the 2-year birthday, so I'm going into my 3rd year growing here, so thought I'd pop up and just get a little bit done and say happy birthday to the plot. But today it's also the day I've chosen to get the parsnips in as well, you know, my award-winning parsnip for the Pottymouth Garden Club competition that we're doing. It's quite a basic competition if you want to grow along. You basically just grow your parsnips and then we're going to show them, I suppose. I don't know who's judging them yet and kind of what the criteria is, but it's just a good parsnip, to be honest. But anyway, I'm going to grow them anyway, so I mean, might as well, you know, if I've got any that are show-worthy, submit them and, you know, I might be in with a shot. But they're going in my shady bed at the back, so let me show you where. Here's the shady bed, and because I keep changing my plans, don't I, what I've decided to do is I'm going to do some parsnips in this bit, and then there I'm going to do the sweet corn actually. Yeah, a little bit of a change around, so just thought I'd try those here this time, because I don't want to do brassicas again here, because I did them last year there. I did the purple sprouting broccoli, and there was some cursory cabbages up here at one point, so yeah, parsnips this end, sweet corn up there, and these are what we're all going for. So one of the rules are we're all doing the same type. And, oh, I folded them really awkward, I can't undo it with one and it's stuck down, but Gladiator F1 is what we're all sowing. So we're going to get those in a moment, but I thought first of all I'd show you a couple of pictures of the plot when I first took it on 2 years ago, because it was just literally a weedy field, and there was a massive sycamore right at the back of the plot, and I've mentioned a time or two, that's why the shed is so far forward off the back fence. It's 5 metres in front, and even then it wasn't quite out from under the canopy of that sycamore. And then the council came along, didn't they, and took it out for me, which was a bit of a surprise. The stump is still there, and that's where I've got plans to put the little pond, which is, I'm making it out of a baby bath, that, so it's just never come to the top of the priority list just yet. But let me show you a few little areas, and we'll have a bit of a comparison to how it looked in the first year. So this is the view that we've got now, and I'll put the picture up of what I had when I first got here. Yeah, there were a bit of a rubbishy pallet compost bin just on the path there, and of course the massive sycamore was up there behind the shed, and it was just completely full of weeds, just with little bits of a remnants of a big raised bed there, some wood edges that I kept tripping over in the grass, and a few little bits of aluminium that must have been from an old greenhouse frame. But yeah, very little was here fortunately, but tons and tons of mare's tail, as you already know, because I've gone on and on about that a lot, haven't I? I probably won't be able to see this very well because there's so much sun, but all down here there were raspberries growing all the way up here, and now I've got my compost heaps, haven't I? And yeah, now I've got my little, I call them dead bodies, but I've got my little rows of compost all down here to grow in, covered with the sheet just to keep the mare's tail back. So this is for the quite big plants, you know, like the potatoes and the squash and that kind of thing, just so they can get the roots down into the soil underneath, but so that this helps stop the weeds coming up and all the mare's tail and it just getting stronger and stronger. I do need to trim, don't I? Look at that, I'm aware of that. Look how much this grass is growing now. So yeah, I need to bring this trimmer down and get all that in the compost heap, especially before the mare's tail turns up. And we've now got, at last, because I've just made this recently, haven't I? But we've now got the 4 raised beds in here, and those 3 are the ones that are all tanked. There's plastic all in the bottom of them there, so I can only grow shallow things, but it does save on the weeding. And eventually, if I can take all that out, if I knock back this mare's tail enough and weaken it, I might be able to take that out one day. And this is my one where I think we're going to have a nightmare weeding this one out this year, and I think the brassicas are going to go here this year. But at least the plants can get the roots into the proper soil in here now, because it's just had card in the bottom of it, and then, you know, there's my compost and manure and whatnot in there. This doesn't need too much putting in because it can get right down into the soil, but eventually this will get built up. But these were quite full at the start, and it always flattens loads, doesn't it? This were a fairly recent addition. I think this were not long, the back end of last year. And yeah, strawberries from home that I've put in. And at the back of there, I think I'm going to sow a row of carrots. I might do. Yeah, but I don't want these to be tall things because I don't want to shade the greenhouse, which is still bubble wrapped into it at the moment. I've still got my little experimental lettuce. I put that out just the other day, a couple of weeks ago, just to see if it did okay, and it's doing alright at the minute. All my little sad mustard and a few of my little outdoor mustards there, and my rocket and whatnot. And this apple tree went in, well, it was March 2022, so it's been in just over a year. And we have got a bit of life springing back as well, which is quite nice. So yeah, give it quite a harsh trim, I must admit. But they do survive it really, really well. I've got to keep this really small. We're only meant to have dwarf trees on these plots, on dwarf rootstock, so I'm going to make sure I keep it nice and tight anyway, because I don't want all this growing out and ending up kind of encroaching onto this bed. So yeah, I do need to keep this almost like a bit of a ballerina style tree really, keep those branches short. But it is a spur bearing one though, rather than a tip bearer, so we will get the fruit off little stubby growths off these branches, and they're not going to stick out a long, long way anyway, so I can afford to keep this one quite tight. It's an L-star, is this variety as well, just in case you were interested. My little primroses there, you saw me put those bulbs in, didn't you? I put those bulbs in quite late, quite hurriedly, but my little primroses, I found those right at the back of the plot under where the tree was, and I rescued them and popped them there. Hey, what we got down here? Already? Look at this. I've only just spotted this. You're the first to see it with me. This is my asparagus bed. This has been in about 12 months now. And this is filled quite deep, because again we do get a lot of mare's tail popping up round the side of this one. It must be quite bad in this area. And I mulched it with some of the rabbit bedding from my neighbour. So that's had a nice bit of a feed. I mean, it'll break down slowly, that, but it's mulched the top as well. But that's a good sign. I mean, at least we know that one of them's coming through and has sort of survived. I'll make that two. Because there's this guy, isn't there, as well? Another little one showing there. Don't want him, little sycamore seedling. They're everywhere. I've got another on that one and all. This one, I believe, at the back, this must be the earlier one, because there are two types and one of them is earlier than the other. We've got a no-show here just yet and a no-show there, but that's okay. That's alright. Yeah. Well, there we go, we discovered that together. Quite surprised about that. And then the other day, I know I said I were going to use this down the far end of the bed and grow the little Kelvedon wonders up it. I need to go in the wilderness and see if there's some more of this twisty willow stuff, because I've just all put it in and amongst these twigs. This were like me French bean structure. Last year I had some Golden Gate beans. Well, they look like a runner, but they're a French bean. They're quite a flat one, and they were growing up these last year. But I've put all these sticks in, and I did poke some alderman peas, so they're the tall ones, the ones that get 6 foot tall, and they've all been poked in down here, and I just put that in place just to try and keep the moisture in and keep the cold out a little bit, just with some canes rammed in to try and keep it too. And I could do a watering these again. I'm hoping the mice don't find them and eat them all before they germinate. But yeah, hopefully they're all going to grow nice and scramble all the way up here, quite nice and tall, use all the height. And I've got the broad beans in as well. Oh, I've got to bring them up. I've got two that missed, didn't I? I need to poke a seed into two positions there. These want a bit of water as well, just to make sure that they do bed in nicely. They had a lot put on them when I first put them in. This was it's only about 3 or 4 nights ago I put these in. So yeah, nice that they're out now, because well, if you've been watching a while, you saw me sow these, didn't you? And this little structure here, I just poked some canes through this. There's like 3 different pieces of this mesh stuff here. And this is just to try and keep the fox out, because I do get a fox that's a bit of a pest. Look, it keeps digging. He dug my poppy up and shoved it over there and it's died. This one's looking a bit worse for wear as well, actually, I must admit. I don't know whether he dug that up and I've put it back in since, but he always seems to be digging in these corners. So yeah, hopefully he won't jump over this, because if he does he's going to flatten everything, isn't he? But yeah, broad beans are out, so we're off, aren't we? And then, yep, Kelvedon Wonder in here, and a few beetroot in middle. That should be nice. This bed, I think it had leeks in, but I think it's going to have to be onions again, this one, you know. I need to put them somewhere. I grew so many, we all planted them Boxing Day, didn't we? And I need to put them somewhere. It might be a bit hard to see this one, but coming back round, we've got garlic in this now. There is a space. I can put some of my onions in there. The fennel were in there and it all died off, of course. But yeah, I need to repair this. This is all capsized a bit. This was when it snowed on it and it all weighed it down, and that one over there is a bit broken, but garlic's in there. That's doing quite well. Quite happy. I do need to still plant out my raspberries at the back, don't I? I keep mentioning I'm going to do those and then not doing it, doing other stuff, but yeah, these really need to get into the ground, these do. These are some of the ones that are rescued from, as I said, when I inherited the plot and they were all growing up there. There were loads of them, and there's a mix of summer fruiting and autumn fruiting I've worked out. So I did leave the sticks in to try and give me a bit of a heads up over which were which still this year. But yeah, they need something doing with them for sure, they do. One day. And over here, I've got my purple sprouting broccoli, which I must admit this were quite late by the time this got in, so it's behind where it was last year. It's only very little is this, but even so, we've had a couple of them that have flowered up lovely. And I've had as you can see, there's some little stumps, if you can see that is through the mesh, but I've had a couple of pickings off that. And so the more you pick, the more they sort of come, don't they? But they get smaller and smaller. And that one as well. And the elephant garlic. And that, I was quite concerned that might not come up, because no sooner had I put it in, this went in really late as well for me. Then it came really cold, and because we've got clay soil and it freezes, doesn't it, quite firm clay soil, I was a bit concerned that this were done for, but it's come through really nice. I have to rescue a couple there though. I think this net squished it a bit. Yeah, I need to sort this out. There we go, that's a little bit better. Hopefully that will recover, because it's a big one, that. It's got right fat stem on it. Yeah, I've just moved this out a little bit out of its way. Yeah, we've got my little bed, haven't we? That little one that's new. Maybe for some tomatoes growing up here. If I ever do eventually put in another stake in this corner, and then put a bit of wood, where am I pointing? Put a stake up here and then put a bigger bit of wood across here, link it all together. And get some more things growing vertical, I think, up here. Would be a ton of noise, wouldn't there? And then just sat in this bed, I just evicted these. I popped up this morning and opened up the greenhouse because I was going to work today. And I've just evicted my straw flowers. So I've got a few there and a few in that one there. So they're just having a little bit of outdoor sniff, hardening off a little bit. And yeah, some onions, little sets, some from seed. They've got to go out soon, but yeah, they want a little bit of water, I think, before they go in. Oh, they're not too bad. And then, at the greenhouse. got more onions here, waiting to go out. A little bit of what I hope is the parsley. Oh yeah, I think so. Looking at that tiny little leaf on there, that's starting to look parsley-like. And a few bits of grass that we don't want, but they were self-seeded, so I've rescued those from the flipping fox that keeps jumping on everything. And my little mint that I brought from home to put in cistern planter up there that we put up the other day. And in here, I've got all sorts going in here, like a lot of folk at the minute. Yeah, these guys, these are getting, oh yeah, I said the other day these were rising up actually. So yeah, these know it's getting warmer and they're getting quite mature now, so it'll not be long before these are out. Because look, I've got another there. That shot up really quick. And then the pak choi. I keep looking at me. I did a little row of Keldon Wonder in this tiny gutter in it. To be fair, it's far too small, is that really? But I thought, oh, I'll give it a go, won't I? I keep seeing this out at the corner of my eye and thinking they're up already. But I don't even think they've been in a week then, or maybe just a week. So it's a little bit keen, isn't it? But yeah, they're hanging there off my little shelf. There are a few bits and bobs here that have not yet germinated. What have we got? Oh, that's the Cape Gooseberry. Oh, golden beetroot. Yeah, I was a bit late doing them. I just finally whacked some in there and thought, well, at least I've done a few. A couple of types of grass, panic grass and bunny grass. That's saved seed, and oh, bunny grass is absolutely gorgeous. It's quite a short one, quite a tufty situation, and then cutest little, softest little, oh, what do you call them, seed head, flower head, whatever, you know, the little grass seedy bit. On top of that, like a little drumstick. They're lovely are those. And I've never grown panic grass before, so interested to see if that comes up okay, because that'll be for going home, that will. Go that happening? No, we haven't, no, not yet. Yeah, no, what's happening with that just yet. I just thought they were, because all those the little feed bits, aren't they, that are in there, not slug eggs. The little feed bits in the compost. And then here, did this little tray the other day. 2 types of cosmos, purity and antiquity. A white one and a nice pinky coloured plain one. Little bits of sticks to demarcate where everything is. Scabious tall double mixed. Black ball cornflower, they're from saved seed, so fingers crossed they're alright. Generally saved seed, it can work better than regular seed sometimes, because you know it's grown in your soil already 1 year, so it tends to be a bit better acclimatised almost. Again, saved seed, snapdragons, corally coloured ones are saved there. Yarrow, that were an interesting one. It said barely cover it must need light to germinate that, so anyway, trying it, bit of yarrow. Nearly falling over then. These are saved seed marigolds, nothing showing yet. They want a bit of water. I watered them this morning, but it's just been so warm. And then another nothing. I can't remember what it is. That, what is it? Oh, however you say it, Agastache, Mexicana, giant hyssop. Yeah, that's saved seed as well, so fingers crossed it's viable. And then this was the celery. Did you see it? Yeah, we've got some action there. Oh, that's good. That's good. When was that sown? I don't know. Can't see. Probably a couple of weeks ago, I think that. But yeah, that's nice. Make sure the lid's open now. Here it is. Yeah, good. And then we've got the bold tardy beetroot. The Chioggia, do you know, I say it different every time, I don't know, you know, little pepperminty stripy looking one there, beetroot, Chioggia, I don't know, I'll put name on screen. My 2 little surviving syrinth that I winter sowed, and I was saying in my other video when I made the seed mix, because these germinated and the others didn't, it was quite harsh conditions. I don't know whether this means that they may be a bit more genetically suited to the cold, and these might be worth keeping seeds from for next year, but I'm just looking at this and thinking, have we got a load of Greenfly? I think we have, haven't we? Dear, I'll have to make up a bit of soap mix. I have got some grated soap here that's homemade soap, so you know, I know what went into it, and I could give them a little spray over them I'll give them a little dunk. Yeah, we don't want them taking hold, do we? What are them? Scarlet kale. I think those are. Blue Scotch curled kale. Cavolo Nero, regular, Nero di Toscana, whatever, kale. Coriander. That might want putting out, that. I know it doesn't want it too warm, that. It's been a baker today. Lobjoit's Cos, beautiful Cos. Same as these dudes here. Lovely. My amaranth, Love Lies Bleeding. You can see on the ticket there. Should we have a look at it? There we go. Yeah. Nice. It's got these sort of pendulous, I don't know what you call it. Looks like millet. But yeah, you're meant to be able to save the grain from that if you can dry it, because it needs a long season and a good warm season, a bit like what we had last year. So this could be a fail. I might grow a load of that and never get a crop, but it's going to look lovely though while it's doing it. So anyway, it's a new one to try, is that. Fennel. Yeah, got a bit of action on the fennel. That's lovely. That's nice, because I'm terrible at fennel. I shouldn't say that in front of it, should I? Give it ideas. Not that it needs it. Webb's Wonderful lettuce. I need to make a note that I want to sow more lettuce, a few different types. Yeah, have a nice little mix. Chard, saved seed from the chard. I grew this at home last year and let it just go to seed. Massive plants those when I let them go to seed, but I've got so much now, years and years. In fact, I think all allotments in Huddersfield would probably have enough chard seed to see them through year if I handed it out. But yeah, they're doing okay. There were some older ones that were from last year that sat through the winter and started looking a bit sad. I mean, they're only a test batch. And then I've got some new ones that look lovely and green that are coming up there. So they should be okay to use. I'm just checking notes hiding under there. Nothing. I've got a couple of rogue things growing here, actually. And I'm looking at them thinking, are they calendula? They might be, I mean, that's some kind of succulent, isn't it, that one that's in there? And I don't think I want these, potentially, I don't know, but they're something. They're not a weed, they're a thing. They are. I'm just not too sure what they are. And then in here, lettuce leaf basil is starting to show. No sweet basil yet, that's alright. I don't know if that were old seed. I don't know, I ended up with about 3 packets of that. Creeping time. Yeah, that is what I've written. So let's assume that this is it. And it's not a weed, because I mean it might be, mightn't it? Thai basil. Nothing just yet. Likes it quite warm, I think that. So, anyway, Rocket. Thanks for coming. There's. I think I might need to re-sow that. Mint. I'm awful at mint as well. Nothing. But lemongrass. So I'm thinking, Thai basil. Look at that, because if this likes it warm to germinate, then you should be germinating, eh? So, talk to each other, have a word. But anyway, at least something's happening there, isn't it? Rudbeckia, Gloriosa daisies. I think they came free on a magazine, them. So anyway, I've sown them, orangey reddish colour, quite a tall thing. So anyway, I did it, didn't I? Loads of different types of brassicas that you've seen before, I think anyway. Some little spiders living in amongst these. So all different types of ones. So some 9-star, broccoli, I can't remember. I think these might be Filderkraut cabbage. Again, another one that Mel sent me. Something with an orange stick, I don't know, I'd have to look in my book, but all brassicas, all sort of like cabbages, cauliflowers, that sort of thing. And then we've got sweet peas. Maybe flipping turquoise lagoon sweet pea. Rubbish. One of them showing. Anyway, they need potting on. Verbena banariensis. See, I can say it. Foxgloves, they need potting on, because they're not moving much then. So yeah, they want potting on. Lupins are doing well. Potted them onto my little paper pots the other day. They're growing great. They're putting on plenty of growth now, looking lovely. My lovely luscious leeks as well, my poor Bella leeks. So they will be put in a bit of a nursery bed at some point and grown on those. But yeah, we're away with them. And nothing. And there's a chance that that's the Lucid Gem tomato, my experimental tomato sowing, the winter sown one. It's meant to be on this side, but I think that's a tomato. I think it is anyway. And anyway, it might have snuck across, might it? More sweet peas. My lovely last year's lobjoits cos that are, yeah, doing brilliantly them. Very, very nice. And I hope these pull through, because these are my rose geraniums. I'm going to keep the faith, because they've looked like this before and then sprung back. I am a bit naughty with these. I should have taken them home sooner, really, but anyway, yeah, I'm going to keep the faith with those because they've surprised me before. I re-sowed more syrinth into these two that I used for the winter sowing, so I've no reason to believe that they'll do badly. I think they'll be fine now. Yeah, but anyway, they're redone. Sweet peas, again, loads of sweet peas. And then, I'll look over here. I've got my little hanging basket of my early strawberries, loads of flowers on. I've got my little spare ones from the ones outside there with Plotty, Plot Dog, looking after them. So yeah, they've not been in there too long, just hung off that shelf underneath. Last year's chard that I sowed, a couple of ones there, so they've sat through nicely. Just for, you know, a bit of an experiment, see if we could get something going for Hungry Gap. And yeah, all my mustards, as you've seen. Oh, hang on, we missed something. Carrots. So I think these were the Amsterdam forcing ones. 22nd of March, it says I sowed those. And I think it looks like I've done an alright job there. You know, I've spaced them out quite well. I might want to space them out just a bit more when I see what else comes through. See if that's all I'm going to get, or whether I get some more coming up. But yeah, we're a bit more gentle-handed, could you call it? Not heavy-handed, light-handed. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, spread them out better than I've done in previous years. So anyway, that's nice. Nice to see that they've germinated, because carrots, I'm bad at them and all. I've got my little bed by the shed, which rhymes. And look at my little Christmas tree. It's got loads of new little bits of growth on, which is lovely. So cute. Got a self-sewn snapdragon that I painted accidentally the other day when I repainted the shed. Looks like that's going to come off though, that bit. Oh. Self-sewn sweet pea from above. My blueberries. 2 types. Forgotten the name of them. Don't ask. Oh, they're at back. Blue crop and Barclay. Yeah, blue crop and Barclay, because if you've got 2 different types, they pollinate better. I've already got a little bit of flower action showing, actually. Oh, cute. On there. Oh, that's nice. Missed them, didn't I? Yeah, just a few little straws, because they were planted in this one last year. They didn't do brilliantly, so don't matter, but there they are. Shady bed, as you know. Over here, let's tiptoe to the wilderness. So we've got comfrey patch, big cornflowers, what they're called, Centauria, is it? Big purple cornflowers. Montbretia, I don't know if he's in the right spot because he didn't flower last year, but I inherited that. That's not to do with me. I could move it, I suppose, but yeah, I didn't put that there. A bushy tree thing, I don't know what it is, that's got, I think it's honeysuckle, but that don't flower either. I've never seen that flower. I think it just spread across from here. It just went like that. So anyway, I've left it. This little one, I had sunflowers at the back of there last year, and my white emergo runner beans up these, and then nasturtiums were all in there, so no doubt we're getting more of them this year. And I think something might have had a bit of a dig here. Oh, and actually, see if I can step over this without falling over. Oh, yeah, hastily put some of my bulbs in here as well. Wow, look. Little grape hyacinths again, little white ones. Oh yeah, and these guys I put in as well. I think they're a tulip, those, potentially. Yeah, but my little cheap, what were the 10p bulbs that I got from B&Q, I just whacked a few in there really quickly, because I thought they're going to end up just dying off, aren't they? And drying up, so anyway they're coming. And so's these guys, yeah. I think they're a lovely little bud them, aren't they? Cute, look like a little pineapple. Yeah, so this gets quite tall, that's why it's got, I mean it's a bit rubbish now, it's fallen down, I need to repair it, but I did put some string and some sticks to try and hold it all up because it flops all over that when it gets quite big. And then, yeah, that's where the pond's going to go. So it looks like we've got enough room to put another shady bed down here with some brassicas, probably to get into the proper soil again there. And it'll take less compost as well than making a raised bed. So yeah, I've got a load of card in the back of the car, and the plan is to make another bed down here. And then pond here, because the stump, because there's some spare bits of logs. But that is the stump and it does keep regrowing, I keep having to chop it back. But when I shift these, and I can use them around the pond, I'm thinking if it just goes in this corner here. Yeah, that's the plan anyway, down the line. You don't get to see this messy bit, do you, so much? But yeah, my spare little drowning barrel for the mare's tail that normally goes with its mate over there at the end of the greenhouse. 2 IBC tanks with some spare glass I picked up from someone. Yeah, and a load of polycarb I can use for something. Yeah, it wants all tidying and cutting, doesn't it now? Grass is growing like crazy. A little box. No one's moved into that yet. And I need to chuck these, don't I? Because no one's found them either. And some stinky leek juice out of my barrel where I drowned all my allium leaf miner infested leeks. I brought a few of them up. I've still got some more to bring up. But yeah, this bit here can get used as a bit of a cold frame as well sometimes, just this little shaded area where it's protected by the shed. Yeah, you know, it's a bit of an area that I don't look at much. It does want tidying. And there's some old comfrey feed, quite a lot actually, in there from last year. So that's ready to go as well. Nice little supply on hand. Oh look. Oh, self-sown sweet peas I think again. Oh, okay, fair enough. And then we're done pretty much, aren't we? Yeah, that's your little tour. A little spin round, just a little bit of a look and a little tiny bit of a recap on what it looked like in, you know, when I first took it on. And all this is falling down, isn't it? It's rustling on my head. Oh, it's because the other day actually I put the auto opener back on there, and so I just sort of pulled a few of these bits of bubble wrap down quite quickly, and I've just left them in a bit of a state. But I'm losing the light now, so I'll get some of these parsnips in really quickly, and I think that'll have to be it. I'll have to go home because I bet it's 7:30 now at night. Let's get a little drill marked out. Stick of choice. I'm going to go about, maybe about 10 inch in, about 250 ml in from the end, and just draw myself a little line. She's probably about inch and a half deep, I think. There we go, and it's nice and damp in the bottom of there because I pre-watered it. Let's have a little look at what they look like. Like a little disc, really. So, you know, if it's a windy day, they might waft off them quite easily. And I'm going to put them maybe about every 3 inch apart. And then I can weed out every other one if needs be, if they don't germinate. Yeah, but I'm going to put 2 every 3 inch, just in case one of them fails. I don't want any gaps. So yeah, a couple every 3 inch. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm just about, I don't know, 4 or 5 inch from the end. I put 2 seeds. A couple of seeds in that bit. A bit of a weed there, get out. A couple of seeds there, side by side, seed by seed. So I've got 16. Can you see me? So yeah, I've got 16 stations there. 2 seeds per station. 32. Yep, that's right. 32 seeds in total. So I've got a 50-50 chance, that something's going to germinate in each of them, and it just increases my chance of getting something every one. But the plan will be to take out every other one. That's the plan anyway, because I only want 8. Yeah, that's it, isn't it? 8 parsnips per row in the end, growing on. Oh, maths in. Yeah, and it's a bit of a problem that there's mare's tail, as usual, because this is open to the ground below and it does really come up. It did a lot last year. And I'm going to have to be a bit careful how I weed it out of this area, because with it being a root crop, I really don't want to disturb what's going on. That's going to spoil my chances a lot, is that if I'm pulling up a load of sort of hacksaw blades or, mare's tail, because when you're pulling the roots out, it can disturb the other roots around it quite a bit. So I might have to more try and just chop it off a little bit, and it'd be a bit of a faff. And we'll see, because time can get away with you, can't it? We'll see how good a job I do. But yeah, it'd be great to keep it weed free, but if I'm going to disturb the roots, I may have to leave it, Yeah, it's going to be a difficult one. I'll just see how it comes through. Well, it's going to come through bad, I know it is. Right, so I'm going to do another row, and I'm going to leave again, probably about 10 inches before I do my next one, but I'm not measuring it, I'm just eyeballing it, so, it's not really rocket science, is it? Or it don't have to be. Where's the world's best stick? It's here. Put my glovey on. Right, so I think what I'll do is, I'm not going to cover that with compost just yet. I'm going to leave it so I can see where I put it actually. So about 10 inch, that'll do, about like that. Because it's nice and wet, it's easy to draw a little drill as well through the soil. Because it stays put. Try and get it straight-ish. Ish. Yeah, it's really wonky that. Never mind. And go again. And I can grow a little catch crop between here. I could probably put some lettuce in as well. So yeah, you can use your space for twice the crop. Because the lettuce will be out long in advance of us needing the parsnips. So yeah, you can use that little gap in between. I've got 1, now I've got 2. I can't even get my gloves on. Right, so we've just got to pinch the soil back over, give them another gentle watering in, and then I've got to cover them over with something, but anyway, we'll get to that bit in a mo. So they're really nicely watered in. They had, oh, it must have been 2 watering cans went on just those 3 little rows, and these are 1.6 metres long. Are these? I know that each of these bits is 800 ml long. So yeah, a good couple of watering cans, about 15 litres, because it's a small can. Is that? It's only like a 7.5 litre. And now 1 extra one all on top of it. So the drills were nice and damp. I could see that when I sort of dug them out, and a bit more now over the top of it. And one of the main problems people tend to have with not getting the seeds to germinate, aside from them being old seed, because they do really want to be that year's seed, they want to be fresh, is them drying out, because they're so thin. They do need to be kept quite nice and moist to germinate. So the best thing you can do is to cover them over with something. And I mean, it could be all manner of things really. It could be a little bit of black plastic sheeting that's laid out and weighed down with something. It could be, some people use a plank of wood as well. I've used some doubled up fleece before, and then with like a long stick on top of it to hold it down. But yeah, main thing is keep the moisture in. Try and keep them a bit sort of warm. They do like it a little bit warmed up. Do them too early. I mean, you won't be doing now. It'd be all right now. We're into April. It should be anyway. So what I've got to cover them over with, I've got a bit of an upgrade this year from my bit of fleece and my bit of a stick. And I've got my old polycarb that I inherited from someone. So I'm going to try and jigsaw puzzle this together and just sort of get it covered up over in this area. And yeah, I'll start peeping after a couple of weeks, but I would imagine in 3 weeks, I should imagine that they're showing. They should be anyway, they were last year. So yeah, let's get them covered over. I've got a little strip there, so we'll just put my little bit of wood. That should be okay. Right, now they won't weighing down really well, so they don't waft away. And because it's twin wall polycarbonate and it's quite thick, is that it did actually come off someone's conservatory roof, that should act as like a little bit of a mini greenhouse, and it should keep it nice and warm whilst the sun's out, and it's going to keep the moisture in as well. So now there might be a few slugs hiding under it when I check, but that's part and parcel, isn't it really? You know, we've sown quite a few, we've got a few we can sacrifice. But yeah, hopefully they'll stay put, because we have got some high winds due in a few days. I think they're about 50 miles an hour, so it's always nerve-wracking, isn't it? I'm hoping greenhouse will be okay. Ooh. And yeah, fingers crossed. But yeah, we'll check back and we'll have a little bit of an update in a few weeks, see how they're going. Parsnips are off. Oh, that's brilliant, that, really exciting. Yeah, been waiting a while. I know a lot of people have already put them in that are playing along with the competition, but I'm thinking no, I did them April last year and it were worth waiting that little bit longer just to allow it to warm up that little bit more. And I'll put a picture up of my super parsnip that I got last year. Yeah, 1.4 kilo that one. That were with leaves chopped off as well. Shame it were a bit cankerous on the top of it, but this Gladiator F1, it's meant to be canker resistant, is this, so I'm hoping that they'll be cleaner this year. But back in the last year, we had loads and loads of rain. It were really quite torrential rain for just days and days on end. And I do believe that contributes to it as well when the soil's moist. And I think if you manure with not quite rotted down manure, I think as well, I think that can contribute to it. I might have read too, possibly, but that manure that's gone on there that I did a few weeks ago, that were really rotted down with that, and it was stable manure as well. It wasn't anything that was overly rich, and it's only laid on the top of it, so it's not, you know, been dug down into it. The worms will take a bit down, but you know, it'd be incremental feeding kind of thing as they work it down into the soil. So I'm hoping that my theory's good and that it'll work out alright. We should have some good ones, you know, back end of the year. And if you've enjoyed the video or you've learnt something, please hit the like button and make sure you're subscribed and you've turned on the notifications as well. And then you'll see the updates when these start showing through. It's dropping dark now, so time to get packed up and get off home. But thank you so much for watching again, and I'll see you soon for an update. Bye!